Let's take a moment to reflect on something many of us feel at some point. A lingering sense of dissatisfaction, like we're drifting through life without truly living. Have you ever felt like the days are slipping by and somehow you're just existing, not truly living? I think we can all relate to that feeling of wondering, am I wasting my life? If you've ever asked yourself that question, you're not alone. This has been at the heart of the human experience for centuries. And today, we'll turn to someone who spent his life grappling with that very question, Søren Kierkegaard. The Danish philosopher dedicated himself to exploring what it means to live a meaningful, fulfilling life, and his insights are as relevant now as they were in the 19th century. Today, we'll explore Kierkegaard's blueprint for overcoming a wasted life. We'll look at how embracing despair, taking leaps of faith, living authentically, and cultivating passion can transform that feeling of aimlessness into a life of deep purpose and fulfillment. Let's take this journey together, step by step. The aesthetic life. Are you living for distractions? We start with one of Kierkegaard's key ideas, the aesthetic life. He described it as a way of living that's centered around seeking pleasure, novelty, and distraction. It's the life where you're constantly chasing the next exciting thing, a new experience, a quick thrill, or something to distract you from the mundane. Sound familiar? The problem is, living this way might feel exciting in the moment, but it doesn't last. Kierkegaard believed that the aesthetic life eventually leads to boredom, dissatisfaction, and despair. When we live only for short-term pleasures, whether it's the rush of social media likes, the excitement of buying something new, or always looking for the next distraction, we're never truly satisfied. The excitement fades, and we're left wanting more. We're caught in a cycle that leaves us feeling empty over time. Take social media, for example. We scroll through endless feeds, consuming post after post, video after video. It's entertaining for a while, but do we really feel more fulfilled after hours of scrolling? Or think about how we chase material things, new clothes, gadgets, or even a job promotion, hoping they'll bring us happiness. But after the initial thrill wears off, we're back to feeling restless, moving on to the next thing, thinking maybe that will finally be the answer. Kierkegaard would tell us that if you feel like you're wasting your life, it might be because you're stuck in this aesthetic mode, seeking pleasure without deeper purpose. There's nothing wrong with enjoyment, but if it's the only thing driving us, we're bound to feel like something's missing. Despair, the wake-up call you need. Now let's talk about despair, a word that might make you uncomfortable, but stay with me. Kierkegaard believed despair is a crucial part of the human experience. It's not something to fear or bury deep inside. In fact, despair can be a wake-up call, a signal that something in our lives isn't right. It's often through these moments of discomfort that we realize we're not living in alignment with who we truly are. Kierkegaard talked about a specific kind of despair. The despair of not wanting to be yourself. This happens when you know deep down that your life isn't aligned with your true self. Maybe you're stuck in a job that doesn't inspire you, or in a relationship where you can't fully express who you are. You feel trapped, but the idea of making a change feels terrifying. So, instead, you keep living in a way that's out of sync with your authentic self. That's where despair creeps in, slowly but persistently. Think of someone stuck in a job that drains them. Every morning, they drag themselves to work, going through the motions but never feeling fulfilled. They know this job isn't for them, but the fear of change, of stepping into the unknown, keeps them locked in place. Or consider someone in a relationship where they can't fully be themselves. They stay because they're afraid of being alone, even though each day feels more disconnected from who they really are. Here's the important part. Despair isn't something to avoid. It's a sign that something needs to change. When we feel despair, it's our inner self pushing us to ask hard questions like, am I really living the life I want? Despair can be the spark that leads to transformation, helping us make the changes we need to live more authentically. The leap of faith, overcoming the fear of uncertainty. Let's move on to one of Kierkegaard's most powerful ideas, the leap of faith. Kierkegaard believed that to live a meaningful life, you can't wait for perfect conditions or complete certainty. Sometimes you have to take a leap into the unknown, a bold step without guarantees, trusting that it's the right thing to do. Here's a problem many of us face. We often wait. We wait for the perfect moment to change careers, to commit to a relationship, or to pursue a dream. We think, once I have more money, or once I know for sure it will work out, then I'll take the plunge. But the truth is, life doesn't offer guarantees, and waiting for certainty often means waiting forever. Think of someone who's been stuck in the same job for years, dreaming of starting their own business. They keep telling themselves, I'll quit once I've saved enough. Or, I'll start when the market looks perfect. But the perfect conditions never come. Years pass, and they stay where they are, unfulfilled because they're waiting for certainty. Or consider someone who hesitates to commit to a relationship, constantly worrying about the possibility of failure. They want assurance that everything will work out before they leap. But relationships, like all meaningful pursuits, require a leap into the unknown. Kierkegaard teaches us that we need to stop waiting for certainty. If you want to live a meaningful life, you must embrace the unknown, take the leap, and trust that you're moving in the right direction, even if you don't have all the answers. Life is meant to be lived boldly. And it's in these leaps of faith, whether in love, work, or personal growth, that we find true meaning. So if you've been holding back, remember this: the leap itself is where life truly begins. Authenticity. Living for yourself, not for others. Now that we've talked about the leap of faith, let's dive into another key concept from Kierkegaard: authenticity. Kierkegaard was deeply concerned with how many people live their lives trying to meet other people's expectations, rather than following their own values and desires. We often feel pressure from society, whether it's about the kind of job we should have, the lifestyle we should lead, or how we should behave. But Kierkegaard reminds us that true fulfillment only comes when we live authentically, in alignment with who we really are. Many people waste their lives chasing goals that aren't really their own. Maybe they pursue careers that sound impressive, relationships that look good on the surface, or material success because they think it will give them worth in others' eyes. But deep down, they know that these things don't reflect who they truly are. They're living to meet external expectations rather than their own internal compass. And that kind of life, no matter how successful or perfect it may appear on the outside, ultimately leads to dissatisfaction. Think of someone who spent years working in a high-paying job, achieving everything that society says should make them happy: money, status, recognition. But despite ticking all the boxes, they feel empty, disconnected from their true selves. They've been living by someone else's script. Then one day, they make the bold decision to leave that life behind and pursue a passion, something that reflects their authentic self, even if it's less glamorous in the eyes of others. That's the moment they begin to live for themselves, not for others. Kierkegaard's message is clear. You waste your life when you live by someone else's script. True meaning comes when you strip away those external pressures and live in alignment with your own values, desires, and passions. It might be scary to walk a path that others don't understand, but that's the price of living authentically, and it's a price worth paying. Passion, fueling a life of purpose. Let's talk about the final piece of Kierkegaard's blueprint: passion. For Kierkegaard, passion isn't just a fleeting feeling of excitement. It's something deeper, a deep commitment to something meaningful, something that resonates with your soul. Passion means dedicating yourself fully, even when the road is tough, even when things don't go as planned. It's this kind of passion that fuels a life of purpose. Too often, we think of passion as something that's supposed to feel good all the time. But real passion is often difficult. It involves struggle. It's about committing to something you believe in so deeply that you're willing to face the challenges, the uncertainty, and even failure because the pursuit itself is meaningful. Whether it's a project, a cause, or a relationship, when you dedicate yourself passionately, you pour your energy, time, and heart into it. And that's what makes life truly rich and fulfilling. Think about someone passionate about a cause, like protecting the environment or helping their community. They spend their free time organizing events, volunteering, or advocating for change, even when it's exhausting. The setbacks don't deter them because their deep commitment gives their life purpose. Or consider someone who dedicates themselves passionately to a relationship, not just during the good times, but through the tough moments, working through challenges with patience and love. It's this kind of passion that transforms lives, giving us a reason to get up every morning and keep pushing forward. Kierkegaard believed that a life without passion becomes mechanical and dull. Without something to commit to, life can feel empty, like we're just going through the motions. But when we live with passion, we find meaning in the struggle, joy in the effort, and purpose in the journey. Passion is what brings color to our lives, making even the difficult moments worthwhile. In the end, Kierkegaard teaches us that passion fuels meaning and purpose. It's not about always feeling excited or energized, but about being deeply committed to something that matters to you. Whether it's a cause, a creative project, a relationship, or a personal goal, passion is the fire that keeps us moving forward, even when the road is tough. So, if you're searching for purpose, look to what you care about deeply and let that passion guide your steps. As we wrap up, let's take a moment to reflect on what Kierkegaard has taught us about how to stop wasting our lives. First, we need to recognize the distractions in our lives, those fleeting pleasures that pull us away from what truly matters. Second, we must embrace despair when it comes, not as something to fear, but as a wake-up call that we're not living in alignment with our true selves. Third, we need to take those bold leaps of faith, even when the outcome is uncertain, because life's greatest meaning is found in risk and commitment. Fourth, we must live authentically, pursuing our own path instead of following the script society hands us. And finally, passion. We need to fuel our lives with a deep commitment to what really matters, finding purpose in our struggles and joy in our dedication. Kierkegaard reminds us that life is not something to be wasted. It's not meant to be lived in a passive, mechanical way. It's something to be lived fully and courageously, embracing the unknown, committing to what's meaningful, and allowing yourself to live with deep, unshakable passion. So I leave you with this question. What leap of faith are you ready to take? What decision, what bold step have you been putting off because of fear or uncertainty? Remember, the meaning of life is not something you wait for. It doesn't appear out of nowhere. It's something you create with every bold and passionate step you take. So let's stop waiting and start living. Your life, your real, meaningful life, begins with that leap of faith.